say we're joined now by radio presenter Pete Price. Hi, Pete.
Good morning. I hope the prices aren't rubbish.
Well, we're going to work out, you know, there'll be a programme cup and there'll be signing. What are you wearing at the moment? That's amazing.
Yes, I wanted to put a suit on for you, so I found this instead.
So listen, there's on the Sky website and some other places are the great Paul O'Grady is talked about because there have been some details released of his funeral procession through Kent, and I know you'll be there.
Yeah, I'm going down to say goodbye to my lovely friend, and he will be with his lovely Buster right now. Look at that, me nodding Buster, his favourite little dog. We were round Birkenhead yesterday. I was out with Emma Rogers, who's a fabulous sculptor, and that picture you're seeing now was the last time he was actually in Birkenhead, and he was doing a book signing. We had lunch, we were together, and I said, "Am I getting a book?" And he went, "Of course you're getting a book, of course you're getting a book." He made me go to the back of the queue, so I had to stand 500 people waiting to get my book. He said, so, you know, I just miss the humour, and I miss Lily. I mean, Lily was wicked. The stories I've got about Lily, I can't tell you, because they're so rude. That's with Sonia, and he's going to be, the outpouring love to the man was unreal, and it's going to be interesting to see the goodbye to him, and I hope that we have a celebration of his life in London somewhere in a huge place where everybody can say how much they loved him, and he'll be there with Cilla Black and Barbara Windsor and June Brown, and he'll be looking down going, "What's up this fuss about?"
Oh, bless him. And his love of dogs always at the centre of anything anyone says about Paul O'Grady. Thank you for that. Tina, in The Guardian, energy firms are going to be told they can't break into people's houses and force them to have a prepaid meter installed. Now, you in favour of this or not?
Well, obviously, I'm certainly in favour of nobody being allowed to break into somebody's house. I was interested to read that people over 85 will not be subjected to it. So if you're 84 3/4, you've got a problem.
Well, it's a bit of a weird one because actually, yeah, the exclusion, it is only over 85, and
Yeah.
you've got to be called 10 times, and you've got to be given £30 on your meter.
Exactly.
But if you're, as you say, if you're 80 years old and you've got dementia, I think you can still have the break-in.
You're still going to have problems, and they're saying they're called 10 times. There's different ways and better ways to do it. I'm very pleased to see that they're going to be made to wear body cameras, because I think that will restrict the way what happens, because seeing the pictures of the ones that they did break into was absolutely
Well, we can have a look. Look, so this is February. The Times caught British Gas debt collectors breaking into vulnerable people's homes and forcing them onto these pay-as-you-go meters, and they did a brilliant investigation. Have a look.
Hello, British Gas and Gas Supply. We're here with the court warrant. Can you please open the door? I'm going to have a look and open it for you. This is the exciting bit. I love this bit.
Which bit?
This bit. I love this bit. They're just saying, "Oh, I'm a single mum and I've got 3 kids," and that's not vulnerability. No. It is a vulnerability, but I'm a bit old school, a bit hard nosed.
Yeah, that you can't have that happening, Henry, can you?
No, it was a cruel, it was heartless, it was brilliant investigation about it. Times or Sunday Times.
Yeah, Times, yeah.
And obviously it changed the game. And it made you wonder what Ofgem's been up to. You know, they're the ones who are supposed to be the regulators of this. And I'm just wondering about this notion of you're only vulnerable if you're over 85 in these circumstances. It feels that Ofgem is still asleep at the wheel. They should have insisted on reducing the age by, to 75 or something like that, and making it harder and harder for them to do
What's
it.
a single mum with 3 young kids is not a vulnerable person, Storm? I mean,
He's probably a vulnerable person. Also, I think the person that went out and did this investigation, I heard him speak earlier this morning, and he said another individual that they visited was a single mother with a 4-week-old baby. Well, I say at that point you are vulnerable.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, anyway, there are some restrictions. I mean, I don't know. It's been a brutal list, hasn't it, Pete?
It has indeed. 600,000 people have had their homes broken into, and it just does not make any sense. It's abhorrent to me that people can break into somebody's house. Now, I had a problem with the gas people, and I still to this day don't understand what happened. The meter was behind the door. I let them in, no problem at all. They changed it and moved it to the kitchen, which is like 4 rooms away. cost a fortune. What was wrong with it behind the door? I don't see the logic in any way they think about this, you know. And now they've got to change the rules, and there's got to be at least 10 visits, and they've got to talk on site about what they're doing, and about time.
Okay, Henry has gone. Tina?
I think one of the things that nobody's taken into account, and they're saying these are people that have obviously got into debt for many reasons, and they want to change motor meters so they prepay. How? These are people that are at the lower end of the market and finding cash to put in meters. So do they have cards? Because probably if they're in debt, they won't have a credit card.
No, well, they have to buy tokens and stuff, don't
Yes,
they?
but
Prepay rate is higher.
what with? Because you can't get hold of cash. Everything's card now. People won't accept cash.
Sure.
So then you've got another problem. This thing's not being looked. This is knee-jerk reaction, and you don't go 10 times. There's other ways to do
Well,
it.
they're on a higher rate as well with a prepayment.
And
which is
that's
the maddest thing of all.
I think they're saying they're going to reduce that now, so it will be the same price. But there's still better ways to deal with the
So
problem.
Henry's got a story about the possibly a new contraceptive for men. This keeps
Yes.
being announced and not happening, Henry.
That's right, but it's a gene, the paper says. It's a team from Washington State University. This is in the journal Nature Communications. And they found a gene called ARRDC5. You knew that, didn't you? And apparently blocking or deactivating it can lead to a reduced sperm count, and it's something they can turn on and off. They tried it with mice. It's always mice, isn't it? And they think it can be applied to humans. But my concern about this is naturally occurring anyway, because over the last 50 years, male sperm count around the world has dropped by between 50 and 60%. Who knows what it is? It's to do with the plastic. Who knows what it is? Environmental. But they think there's a demand for this, and soon there may be a pill.
Okay, but the problem, Pete, is whether men will take the pill.
That it switches it on and off. That's the bit I can't get. I mean, it's bizarre, and they're trying it with mice, so it's got to be right, hasn't it? But then, where does that fit in with sex? Does the guy say, "Oh, hang on, I've got to switch my gene off"?
Well, Storm, you know, we've talked about this before, where you've got the potential where you've got a pill that men take on the night,
Yeah, so that
and then the woman says, "Look, we're not protected," and the guy says, "Oh, don't worry, I took it earlier, just before the start," and she says, "Well, I only met you in the restaurant.
He was
What the hell were you taking a pill for?"
optimistic the night was going to go well. Yeah, that was earlier this year. This one, they're saying this is fantastic because it doesn't affect men's hormones, because you know testosterone is very important. It's like women have had to deal with hormonal birth control forever, and we're just told to put up with it. The minute men are talking
Yeah.
about birth control, it's like, don't affect my testosterone level. I couldn't possibly, I won't function as a man.
Yeah, there'll be a whole anti-contraceptive movement.
However, I think that this is fantastic. I'm glad they're looking into it, and I'm glad that it isn't hormonal, because messing around with your hormones, I don't think is active.
Do you think, Tina, this is a social thing that if for some reason over the years we've all got the idea that the contraceptive is done by the woman, and that's terrible?
Well, it's been accepted that once women started going on the pill, a lot of men thought, "Oh, great, I haven't got to wear those awful things." And so they thought that was wonderful, and until the AIDS came along, and then they had to go back to things. But I quite agree. I don't think there's any woman that would trust a man to take a contraceptive pill, and be honest about
I
it.
don't know why men trust women. I would be putting something on.
The answer is that
I mean, a lot of men have been trapped by that
Well,
one.
this is what I'm saying. I think men and women should be trusted equally, but I think we should take responsibility for our own fertility and our own responsibility.
But isn't the answer to your question, why would blokes trust women, is the bloke thinks if this goes wrong, it's like it's not going to happen in my house.
But see, I see it in a different way. I think if you're the woman and you fall pregnant, you have a decision to make, and it's completely your decision, and you're in control of that situation. If you're a man and you get a woman pregnant, it's out of your control. Your life is completely dictated by another individual. And do you want that? I think men need to really start thinking about it in a different way.
I think it may, but younger guys may not be thinking that anything is going to dictate.
That's why parents need to instill it early.
They're just thinking, which is the next town I'm moving to.
This is it's so interesting. These conversations take us right back, Pete, don't they?
I've got the best contraception in the world. I'm gay.
Yeah, well, that's not, you know, I mean, I'm not sort of tempted by that as an option personally, but for others, yes.
But if it is transgender and you don't know what your partner is.
Well, yeah, okay. Storm, Twitter, South Norfolk Council.
Yeah, this
rap.
is fantastic. So this is the MD of the South Norfolk Council. His name's Trevor Holder, and he's got a sort of smart way to get young people involved in politics. And there's a local election on the 4th of May. You do need your ID, and he wants to make sure that everyone has the correct identification. Take a look.
I've got something to say about May's local elections. T-Dog's spitting bars about voter ID selection. So make sure you bring it, or you'll receive rejection. Some may call it suppression, but don't be a square. It's about making sure this election is fair. Your passport, your driving license, you get the gist. Hop online to see the full extensive list. Make sure your vote counts, so bring your ID. Looks like this card with a little photo of me.
I think it's quite clever, that.
I think
I
that
think-
was
Well,
brilliantly awful.
Yeah.
It's not,
Yeah,
I mean,
brilliantly
impressive.
awful. There's
Yeah,
the way to
but
describe
it's
it.
fine. It's fine. I mean, what a lovely guy. I don't know.
Wonderfully
that's,
rubbish.
That's a real guy there, isn't it? So somebody just trying to do their job.
And it's amazing. It's a civil
Yeah,
servant
Pete.
that's actually
Sorry,
got
Auntie.
Quote
this.
of the day. That's the quote of the day. Brilliantly awful. I love that.
Well, you don't want it to be
That's
too
so
slick. If they brought in a PR company and it's too slick, you get
Well, the
suspicious.
obvious thing would have been to try and get Stormzy or Dave or someone like that.
Yeah, that would have been
Whoa,
the
whoa,
obvious
whoa.
thing.
But it would have gone viral for different reasons.
Yeah. But what's funny about it is that some of he's got the timing of it wrong, but he's still managing to do it. He's miming along to it.
I love how you're actually delving deep into the musical sort of talents of this. I think you're looking too deep into it. It's just, it
think
is
it was,
what it is.
Brilliantly, deliberately awful.
Do you know who? Oh, hang on, we can still hear it.
I think he is
What,
very.
who is this guy anyway?
So his name's Trevor Holden. He's very conscious of his hands. I've noticed
Is he? Let's
watching
see.
the video.
Oh, yeah,
Everything,
look at
his
that.
hands are very choreographed.
And the bigger issue here, Tina, is whether they're right to ask for ID. There's very little voter fraud in this country, and the worry is this will put young people off voting.
Well, it may put young. I don't know that it would put young people off of voting because young people tend to be so used to providing
Good points.
ID for clubs they go to or their student cards or things. But it's older people, I think, won't even know about this. Will be turning up. Being told they can't vote because they haven't got their ID card, they're not going to come back. They're not going to go home and get something. And
Yeah.
I just think that it should be. I think that we should go like some of the Australian systems or other systems where everybody should be made to vote.
They've got forcibly.
Forcibly,
And if they
everybody
don't want to
should
vote,
made
you
to
just
vote.
drag them there in
Yeah,
chains.
yeah,
Brilliant.
And there are other ways. Or make everybody. Well, they say postal votes were a problem as well. Didn't
I don't know how much of a problem.
Yeah.
Listen, Pete, we've got to mention you've run into this issue of whether you can call people ladies or young ladies.
Do you know what? I'm so glad you brought this up because I put it on my Twitter and I have had 250,000 people comment on it. I was shocked. I worked with a lovely, lovely young lady and we did an awful lot of hard work. And at the end of the time, I said, "Thank you so much, young lady. That was brilliant what you did." And she went, "How patronising. Did you really have to call me young lady?"
Try that
And she wasn't nasty, but she meant it. And I am of an age where I thought that was charming. I'm an old man. I don't understand why she was offended by that. But it's really hurt me, Jeremy, because I don't know what to say anymore.
Well, let's try with
And
Tina here.
most people agree
Tina
with me.
supports you, I think.
Yeah, please. You can tell me 1,000 times a day, and I'll love you for it.
We've got a brilliant squad who do the papers on the show. I simply say the papers, all the stuff we do in this part of the show, and we can see a picture of them. And they came. There they are on the left, Lauren, quite serious, and on the right, Sophie. And they come in and talk to me about the papers, right? And I said at the end, "This is brilliant." And I was about to say, "This is brilliant, ladies," and I stopped myself, and I then said, "This is brilliant, women." And obviously that doesn't work either. And I'm lost, like you, Pete. I can't call them ladies because that could be wrong.
Girls.
Certainly call girls.
No,
Yeah,
that's
I
even
love it.
worse.
You like girls?
I love it when they call
Have you
me.
tried? What about that, Pete? Just say thank you, girl.
No, you wouldn't say
Jeremy,
that.
I would love to know what those lovely young ladies who work with you think of it, because it really is a minefield, and it's getting really getting silly. You know,
Yeah.
it was a compliment. She'd worked so hard, and I didn't know what else to say.
Let's see what Henry thinks.
If you have a relationship with somebody, if you know them and you know that they're happy with that, then say it. When you don't know them these days, you can't say it.
What do I say about our squad, Lauren and Sophie? Well, how do I address them?
Because you've got a relationship with them, and you'll know whether they. I mean, they might even call themselves. My other half's nearly 50, and she and her friend, who's also 50, they call each other girl all the time. Oh, girl, listen to this. So,
I mean, you're playing with fire there.
The minefield.
You get an
I
HR
think
complaint 10 years later.
The most important thing is the intention behind it.
That's
If you feel like the intention is good from the other person, then just
Okay, and you,
Do you know what?
go on, Pete.
No, she's so right. That lovely young lady is so right. It was the intention of saying thank you.
let's go the other
Simple as
way
that.
though. What if somebody said, "Well done, old man"? That wouldn't work.
I don't
Because
mind.
old is, well, I wouldn't
I don't
mind that,
mind.
but young is a compliment. But the thing is that Pete's intention was good, but he shouldn't have said it because they took it,
Badly.
she took it badly. So the intention is not the thing.
Very
It's, yeah, I'm going to go with just team. Okay, team, that's it from me. Don't go anywhere because the conversation continues in a moment, doesn't it?
Thanks, team. Okay, I'm joined by Nicola Thorpe and Mike Parry, and we're going to be asking if the courts should reveal the identities of kids who kill. This is after a judge lifted a reporting ban protecting a 15-year-old who fatally stabbed another teen in a bid to deter knife crime. Plus, Rishi Sunak wants to tackle the nation's numeracy problem by making kids study maths until they're 18. Is this really the solution? What do you think? We'd love your calls on this. We'd also love your calls on whether you'd tell a friend that they were fat. That's an interesting one. So give us a phone, 0207 862 2222 with your views, and we'll speak to you very soon.
Okay, our thanks to Henry and Tina, and especially to Pete for popping in today. And Storm is back after this short break.